UFC Fight Night, Hill versus Rountree. We got a former UFC champ and a former UFC title challenger in the main event. We got Fiziev coming off an absolute banger with Justin Gaethje. Bahamondes in the co-main. Just got a win to get him inside of the rankings. A finish over Jalen Turner. We got Curtis Blades, former title challenger. Rizvan Kuniev in his debut, taking on a top 5 heavyweight in the world. Crazy. And then the rest of the cards are unranked up-and-comers. Nazim, Motta, Grad, Naimov, Orolbai, Junyon Park, and so many more. This is not a bad card. It's pretty good all throughout. There's a lot of guys I can see making their way to the rankings in the future. In terms of name value, not a crazy card, but in terms of the fights, I think we got a lot of fun ones here for sure. Inside of UFC Azerbaijan. This is the first time they are in this country, in Baku. I can't wait for the card, especially excited for Nazim Sadykhov. He's the first ever UFC fighter, or fighter in general, that I've interviewed. So happy to see him fight again on a big stage in his home country of Azerbaijan. But, of course, if you do want to become a member to get all of these really cool perks, we got all of my MMA bets. That includes PFL Latour, if you want to call it that, one championship. Any organization, UFC, all MMA bets, parlays, money lines, props that I make, I'm going to be posting that out for you guys if you are a channel member. We have inside scoops on big UFC fight announcements. That means there are fights out there that are not official just yet that I know about that are posted for the channel members to look at and see. What is going on behind the scenes? When does every fighter want to fight next? A fighter that already has a fight booked, I know about it, and I'm posting it on there. So if you want kind of that kind of inside scoop, that backdoor look at when UFC fighters are gonna fight again, become a channel member. That's a great perk right there. I would say my best perk of the membership. We got my full UFC rankings for the entire roster. We got the list of the best fighters outside the UFC. We just saw Malcolm Wellmaker just destroy Chris Moutinho in his second UFC fight. He has been on my prospect list for a while. If you want to see the best guys and girls outside of the UFC, that's also on there. We have the access to ask UFC fighters questions. I have a list of fighters that I have made contact with. If you want to ask them a question, I will ask them a question on your behalf and give you the answer. You can literally talk to a UFC fighter through this membership. And then we have the UFC fighters to cut. That's a funny one. It's every fighter I think should be cut from the UFC. So a lot of good perks there. Again, my favorites are the inside scoop on MMA announcements and the MMA bets. But if you want to become a channel member, the link is down below for only $4.99, the cost of a coffee at Starbucks. And that's for an entire month of MMA news, of bets, of rankings, of prospects, of access to ask UFC fighters questions and to see who should be cut from the UFC. Incredible perks. Become a channel member. Pin comment or down below in the description. With that being said, let's get into the first fight. We go down to this one in the welterweight division. Oban, Elliot, and Seokhyeon in the UFC welterweight division. Oban, 27 years old, a little bit younger, a little bit taller, a little bit lengthier than Seokhyeon. Oban is currently, I believe, 3-0 inside of the UFC. Decision over, not in the UFC anymore, Val Woodburn. Decision over Preston Parsons, who's got a pretty bad losing record in the UFC. Then he knocked out Basil Hafez, who also has a losing record in the UFC. But one of those losses was a very close fight to champ Jack Della Maddalena. So his wins aren't necessarily amazing, not over super crazy competition. And this is another fight where it's not another great opponent, not a big step up for Oban. Elliot. He's kind of staying around that similar range. Val Woodburn, Parsons, Basil. These are very gradual steps up in competition, and I would argue this is a step sideways in competition, or a step down in competition taken on Seokhyeon. So if he's beating these guys, obviously I think he's going to go out there and beat Seokhyeon in this weekend, or next weekend's fight. Do I think he finishes them? No. A lot of people are having that recency bias of him knocking out TKO and Basil Hafez in that matchup and being like, oh, if he can knock out Basil, he's going to knock out Seokhyeon. No, I don't think so. He can, of course, he can. But if we look at his history, decision, and then a rear naked choke, he's not a finisher. He really is not a finisher. Half of his wins by decision, half of his wins by finish. If you look at Seokhyeon, he has been finishing both of his losses, but that was 4+ years ago, even 6-7 years ago to Sasha Palatnikov. He hasn't really been in any danger in his other fights. He's able to stay on the feet and stay away from those big shots and land some good striking combinations. I expect this fight to go all the way. I expect Oban to be very technical here and land some good shots on Seok to land some good shots on Oban, but Oban to be the smarter fighter and mix in those takedowns. He's taller, he's lengthier, he can keep that range, and when he wants to, get inside a lot easier on Seokhyeon and mix in a takedown or two, a little bit of ground and pound. I think this is not going to be a clear, concise, dominant victory for Oban like many people are thinking. Betting odds are a little much for my my opinion there, -400. I would say Oban Elliot is going to win this fight. Am I that confident to say -400? No, I am not. But am I going to say Oban by unanimous decision? Yes, I am. Oban, 29-28, 30-27, 30-27, unanimous decision. Mohammed Usman and Hamdy Abdelwahab in the UFC heavyweight division. This is, my God, very low level. Mohammed Usman's coming off 2 losses. I don't know how he's not been cut, but I guess he was on that 3-fight win streak. Zach Paunga, not in the UFC. Junior Tafa, now a light heavyweight. And then Jake Collier, not in the UFC. Lost to Mick Parkin, which, yeah, I mean, Mick Parkin's solid. That was a pretty close fight. Then he lost to Thomas Peterson, got taken down a few times, got outstruck at moments in that round, and in that fight as well. It's a weird one. It is a weird one. Hamdy is a 2-1 favorite, which, is that iffy? Is that iffy? Because if I'm betting on anything, it's an Usman decision as an underdog. Hamdy is so inconsistent, and he's not very good. I thought he lost the fight with Jamal Pokes. He got outstruck. Don'Tale Mayes, you're telling me you got a split decision with Don'Tale Mayes, and then a split decision with Jamal Pokes? What are we doing? 4-0 undefeated, whoopity-doo, but he's not as good as that undefeated record might look on paper. Mohammed Usman, if he's able to defend these takedowns, which I think he will for the most part, defend these takedowns. If he can defend enough of them, keep it on the feet for them as long as possible and just jab and move, stay out of range, and have Hamdy keep coming to him and just keep throwing that volume, keep picking him, keep jabbing and keep poking and prodding Hamdy as he comes forward. Usman's winning a decision. What are we doing? -205, 71% going. I'm going to go Usman. This is going to be my first underdog of the card. I do not know why the odds are this way. I'm going to go Usman, and I'm going to go by decision. I'm going to check out. They don't have any props yet. But I do think the odds are going to say probably goes to a decision because neither guy is finishing or getting close to any sort of finish recently. I think this one definitely goes to a decision. These odds should definitely close, in my opinion. I think Usman has enough skills on the feet to outstrike Hamdy. Use that height, use that reach, stay at range, have Hamdy come to him and win. Hamdy needs to get the takedowns. He just has not proven he's been effective at doing so inside the UFC. So Mohammed Usman, unanimous decision. Azat Maksum and Tagir Ulanbekov in the UFC flyweight division. You know, this is an interesting one because Tagir Ulanbekov's coming off 3 wins in a row. Very, very inactive 2.5 years ago. Then he fought more than a year later against Cody Durden. Then he fought about a year later against Clayton. Now he's finally making a quick turnaround, but not necessarily super quick, just a normal turnaround. It's just quick for his terms of things. 5 months later, fighting Azat Maksum here in Azerbaijan. He was originally training for Kyoji Horiguchi. Azat is stepping in on short notice, coming off his loss, again, very long time ago, 1 year, 4 months ago, before that 1 year, 10 months ago. Again, 2 guys not really inactive, or not really active in this UFC flyweight division. Age, Azat is younger, but Tagir isn't old by any means, so I don't think that should be an issue. Height and reach, exactly the same. Azat is the better striker. Tagir is the better wrestler. Azat, if you watch his last 2 fights, the Tyson-Nam fight, obviously Tyson is not landing any takedowns on Azat, but the Charles Johnson fight, Charles actually landed some takedowns, landed a little bit of ground and pound on Azat Maksum in that fight. I know it was a year and 4 months ago, That's not good. That is not good. He's taking this on short notice. He didn't have a full camp to train for that wrestling and grappling style of Tagir Ulanbekov. I am pretty confident. He's going to be on my confident picks video. I am confident Tagir Ulanbekov goes out there and fairly easily wins this fight against Azat Maksum. I do believe he's going to land the takedowns and control him and win a 30-27 unanimous decision. I don't think he submits him, Azat. I don't think he's ever been submitted, ever been finished. It's just that decision to Charles Johnson. I got this fight going all the way, but Tagir's got a good chance to finish because he is a good grappler, good submission skills, but I see this fight going all the way. The Wi-Fi is going a little weird right now, so hopefully this is not going to be out of the YouTube video, but I do have Tagir winning this fight. If we look at the betting odds for this matchup here, Tagir Ulanbekov is a 3-1 favorite, which is weird. I am more confident in Tagir than I am in Oban Elliot. Again, you'll see that in the confident picks video. Might be a parlay piece if you check out my betting breakdown when we do it for the channel members. Tagir could definitely be in that parlay at minus 275. That's a very, very solid number on BetMGM as well as Pinnacle and as well as Bet105. So can't wait for this fight. Tagir, I'm going to go for him to keep his spot in the UFC rankings and win by unanimous decision. Klaudia Sygula and Irina Alekseeva in the UFC women's bantamweight division. This is a weird one. This is a very, very weird one. Klaudia hasn't fought for 7 months. She's been a little bit inactive. Took that fight on short notice. Got taken down and mauled by Mullins in the wrestling and grappling. Showed some good kicks on the feet. Decent striking. Nothing to really write home about or anything like that. She looked okay. She got nowhere near the reach of Irina Alekseeva, but she got the kicks at range to help her out a little bit. Irina Alekseeva fought 2 years ago, beat Stephanie Egger, knee barred her, then she lost to Mullins, just like Klaudia Sygula did, and that was a year and 8 months ago, and then she popped for some sort of roid, some sort of something, and has been out on a suspension ever since then. Now she's finally coming back, fighting in Azerbaijan against Klaudia Sygula. I think the loser definitely gets cut here. The thing is, again, 1 year, 8 months, I don't know how Irina has improved, if she's been taking the time off, any of that. That's where these type of fights get really, really iffy. We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there for Irina Alekseeva, but I do know she's got good pressure, puts on the pressure, comes forward, and uses that reach to just come in and land the punches and get out of range when her opponent tries to counter her. Klaudia should be looking to stick and move with her kicks and then try to wrestle. I think both girls, whoever can get the takedowns and stay on top, probably going to be more likely to win this fight. But I don't think either girl has a significant advantage on the ground with wrestling or grappling. I don't think either girl has a significant advantage on the feet either, because Klaudia's got the better kicks, Irina's got the better boxing and the better punches, and has that reach advantage. So this is one of those fights where the odds say minus 225. I'm going to go Irina Alekseeva. I really think it's a pick'em. I really do think this is a dog or pass fight in the UFC women's bantamweight division. Klaudia is no slouch on the feet. If this is a 3-round striking affair, I expect a 29-28 split decision to go either way in this matchup. I am going to lean Irina to land more punches. She throws a lot of volume coming forward, and I think she is going to be the more active fighter in there, but Klaudia, if she's able to stay at range, and if Irina is just a little bit gun-shy, has a little bit of ring rust and doesn't come forward as much as usual, she could very well lose this fight by Klaudia staying at range and kicking and winning the fight by decision. So, close one. I'm going to go Irina Alekseeva. Am I confident? No, I am not. Mullins and Darya Zheleznyakova in the UFC bantamweight division. 1-1 is Darya Zheleznyakova. Just got submitted by Aileen Perez, got taken down and arm triangled. Before that, beat Montserrat Rendon, took her O. Not a bad loss at all. Before that, lost to who? Mullins. That was 2.5 years ago, but TKO, ground and pound TKO, coming off an arm triangle submission loss. Melissa's coming off a ground and pound TKO yet again. Beat Irina Alekseeva, beat Darya Zheleznyakova, only lost to a really, really good striker in Nora Cornoli, who's currently ranked inside of that top 15. I think we're going to see similar here. I think Mullins going to do what she's done plenty of times before. Get the takedown, get on top of Darya Zheleznyakova, attempt some submissions, but use that to get some good ground and pound positions, ground and pound, loosen her up, go for submissions, and get a better position for ground and pound. So she's either going to continue to ground and pound and get that finish, or she's going to get the back and rear naked Darya Zheleznyakova. So rear naked or ground and pound TKO, round 2, round 3. And we're not even talking about it, but I think there's a possibility for a doctor stoppage as well. Elbows on top could be another possibility. Mullins by finish in round 2. Round 3. Junyoung Park and Ismail Naurdiev in the UFC middleweight division. I love Junyoung Park. I'm sorry to say, I love the man. Not in a really, way, but I really like to watch this man fight. 3 wins in a row. Joseph Holmes, Dennis Tillinen. Beat Brad Tavares recently, beat Albert Darya by finish. 3 finishes in a row. Before that, beat Eric Anders. Lost to only Gregory Rodriguez and Anthony Hernandez in the UFC. Anthony is currently a top 10 UFC middleweight. Gregory just fought inside of the top 15. He's about to fight another should-be top 15 guy in Jack Hermanson. Andre Muniz, I thought Junyoung Park won that fight. This dude is ranked level. If we look at the UFC rankings, he could have a very close fight with anybody inside of that top 15. And now he's fighting Ismail Naurdiev. 3-2 in the UFC. Lost to Vadim Kutsi a few years ago, who's a welterweight who lost in the Contender Series. Marcin Bandel, getting finished by these guys. And then he beat one guy by guillotine, got a shot in the UFC, and beat a guy like on a 12-fight losing streak? No, come on, guys. Come on. Junyoung Park is about to put an absolute clinic. I love this man. Again, not in that type of way, but I love this man. The odds for this fight are minus 220. I am minus 1,000 confident. I kid you not. I think Junyoung Park puts the pressure on Ismail. Ismail tries to be technical and kickbox and move and stay on the outside and counter. He's going to wilt. And he's going to wilt some more. Then he's going to get taken down. Then he's going to get back up. Then he's going to get taken down again. Then he's going to get taken down again and ground and pounded. Then he's going to get kneed in the clinch and punched. And he's going to release the clinch. Lands a boxing combination. Get another takedown. Rinse, repeat. Junyoung Park. This man is South Korea. This man is Marab of the middleweight division, besides Anthony Hernandez, another guy that beat Junyoung Park. But I digress. Jun will win this fight, and Jun will dominate this fight. Mark my words, I am 9,000% confident Park wins this fight. Domination. Bogdan Grad and Mohammed Naimov in the UFC featherweight division. Age, pretty similar. Height, little height advantage for Naimov, and then the exact same reach. Bogdan, not as powerful, not as big as Mohammed Naimov. Wrestling and grappling, I don't think it's going to be a big edge for either guy. I expect this fight to kind of be a striking battle. Bogdan's going to come forward. Mohammed's going to counter with big, powerful punches. It's going to be a volume, Bogdan Grad, versus power, Mohammed Naimov. And I think the power is going to win in this one. As I do think Bogdan's actually, I said it wasn't going to be like a significant advantage one way or the other, but I think Bogdan's going to be coming forward and walk into a few takedowns of Naimov. Not a lot, not where he's going to get dominated and controlled and almost finished on the ground and submission attempts, but I think Naimov will land a few takedowns as Bogdan is coming in. Land a little bit of ground and pound. Bogdan will get up. He'll land a knee to the body, and then they'll break. And then Bogdan will come forward. He'll land some volume, land some kicks, come forward, and the Mohammed will land a big shot and rinse, repeat. I think this is going to be a fun, high-paced battle. Bogdan coming forward, Naimov countering, mixing in takedowns, landing big shots. Bogdan still coming forward, gets hit with a big shot, still coming forward. It's going to be a fun fight. I do have Naimov countering with big, powerful punches and mixing in takedowns here and there throughout this fight. And I got Mohammed Naimov by unanimous decisions. Odds are minus 225. This is a close fight. I lead Naimov to win the decision. Nazim Sadykhov and Nikolas Motta in the UFC lightweight division. 4-1 heavy favorite here is Nazim Sadykhov in his home country of Azerbaijan. He is currently 3-0-1 in the UFC. He's got a draw with Vyacheslav Borshev, beat Terrence McKinney, beat Evan Elder, beat Ismail Bonfim, and won on the Contender Series to a former UFC fighter as well in Ahmed Hazanzadeh. Nikolas Motta coming off 2 wins. Tom Nolan, solid win. And Haiser Maheshate lost to Manuel Torres before that. Should have lost to Trey Ogden. Not a lot of people think about that one. He should have most definitely lost to Trey Ogden in that fight. But it was a premature stoppage. Trey was on his way to winning that fight. Stopped it too early, and then they made it a no contest. Trey should have won. He was out grappling, out wrestling, and out dominating Nikolas Motta in that fight. I do believe in this one. Nazim is going to be the better kicker. Nikolas Motta, slightly the better striker. He's a little bit lengthier, hits a little bit harder with his punches, but Nazim is a much better kicker than Nikolas Motta. I believe the striking exchanges are going to be fairly even here between Nazim and Nikolas. Nikolas is going to be coming forward, I feel. Nazim's going to be kicking out range, countering with hooks. And I think Nazim, if he's going to be smart here, I think he's going to have to mix in, not a lot, not throughout the entire fight, just constantly shooting takedowns, but a takedown every round. A takedown here in round 1, a takedown in round 3. Just because Nikolas Motta is not the best on the ground. I think Nazim, if you wanted a place where he for sure will win this fight, it's in the wrestling, it's in the grappling. Do I think Nazim's going to do that as his game plan? Probably not, but it's a good fallback if he should choose to do so. I think either way he does outstrike Nikolas Motta, but I think if he wants to, if he needs to, he can mix in those takedowns. So Nazim Sadykhov, unanimous decision. If he needs the wrestling, he'll use it, but I don't actually think he will. I think he'll win without it, but we'll see what happens here. Nazim Sadykhov, I'm going to go 29-28, 29-28, 30-27, unanimous decision win for Nazim Sadykhov. Myktybek, Orolbai, and Tofiq Musayev in the UFC lightweight division. Age advantage going Myktybek, Orolbai. Height, pretty even right there. And then the reach advantage is going Myktybek, Orolbai. Myktybek is a freak of nature. He comes forward. He puts on crazy pressure, crazy pace. Again, we got a lot of Marabs in the UFC now, and Myktybek is one of them. Puts on a crazy pace and pressure on his opponents, and Tofiq has not felt that before. He's used to sitting back comfortably, being technical, and waiting for some openings, and landing some good hooks, and landing some good kicks, and getting those knockouts. Not going to happen here. Myktybek has a crazy good chin. He's got that volume. He's got that cardio. Tofiq's going to be waiting. He's going to be waiting. He's going to be waiting. And Myktybek's going to be moving. He's going to be moving. He's going to get inside. He's going to get takedowns and really wear on Tofiq Musayev here. If Tofiq's going to win, he's going to have to catch him as he's coming in on one of those takedowns with a knee and uppercut. Stuff him, and then as he's coming up, hook him. There's a lot of things Tofiq can do, but he needs a knockout. He's not winning a decision unless he knocks down Myktybek in 2 different rounds. Other than that, this dude is not winning if it goes to a decision. So, we'll see what happens. I do have Myktybek, Orolbai kind of smashing Tofiq in this fight. Winning round 1, winning round 2, an absolute war in round 3 where Tofiq is just trying to survive, landing some big hooks, trying to come back, and Myktybek landing takedowns and ground and pound and being relentless like he always is. I'm going to go 30-27, but I don't think every single one of those rounds is going to be like a clear domination for Myktybek. I think Myktybek will get dropped. I think he'll get bloodied. His nose will be bloodied. His face will be swollen again. But I think Myktybek leans every round. I think he does. I think Tofiq will have his moments, land big shots, and people will be like, okay, that was a closer round. Tofiq might have won it, but Myktybek landed a lot of ground and pound. Cut Tofiq with an elbow on the ground, things like that. Just landed the overwhelmingly higher amount of significant strikes, but Tofiq landed the bigger ones. So it's going to be one of those close ones. I do think Myktybek's style is going to outweigh it. Because even if he does get rocked, he can kind of disguise it. Marab does that a lot. When he does get hurt, he does this, and then he goes in for the takedown. So you can't really see the hurt sometimes. I know I'm talking a lot here. I got Myktybek Orolbai winning 30-27. Wouldn't be surprised with a 29-28. But I think that relentless style is going to work on Tofiq because Tofiq has not seen or felt this style before. He's very used to being in comfortable fights. This is not a comfortable fight. Myktybek is never a comfortable fight. Myktybek, unanimous decision or a late finish. Curtis Blades and Rizvan Kuniev in the heavyweight division. Hot take. Round 1 will be wrestling. Round 2 will immediately switch to striking. Rizvan will shoot a bunch of takedowns in round 1, get a takedown on Curtis Blaydes. Blaydes will get back up. They'll be in the clinch. Rizvan will land some good knees, some good elbows. Curtis will land some good knees and good elbows as well. They'll break. End of round 1. They're going to be striking. They're going to be kind of feeling out that range a little bit. It's going to be a very, very close round that could go either way. Maybe Rizvan wins, maybe it doesn't. Doesn't matter for my prediction. Round 2, Curtis Blaydes defends the first takedown Rizvan throws. And then Rizvan's a little bit tired. Just a little bit tired from a lot of the wrestling he was trying to do in round number 1. Curtis is not. Curtis's gas tank holds up, and he's doing this, and he's landing jabs. He's pop, 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 popping Rizvan at range. Landing the leg kicks at range. And Rizvan shoots another takedown. He fails again. Curtis defends it. Gets Rizvan's back to the cage. And he starts to unload. Left hook and uppercut. Hurts Rizvan Kuniev. And Rizvan starts to back up and starts to move off the cage. Curtis follows. Puts on that pressure. And I think throughout round 2, it's going to be that breaking point for Rizvan. I think Rizvan round 1, he might actually win. Again, it doesn't matter because I'm predicting a finish. But I think Rizvan might win round 1 due to the takedown, a little bit of ground and pound, controlling him in that clinch, and not just controlling him with landing knees and landing elbows and holding, and landing knees and landing elbows and doing stuff with that control. But I think round 2, once they get a little bit more sweaty and Blaydes is able to stuff the first few in round 2, he's going to hurt him. And he's going to put on that pressure and he's going to realize, we're sweaty now. I just need to sprawl. And the sweat's going to help me defend these takedowns. Then we got Curtis coming forward and pressuring and landing hooks and landing uppercuts. And he's going to knock out Rizvan Kuniev. End of round number 2. Curtis Blaydes, TKO. Rafael Fiziev and Ignacio Bahamondes in the UFC lightweight division. Rafael needs a win. He's on 3 losses in a row. He's in his prime. Nowhere near the height, nowhere near the reach of Ignacio Bahamondes. Hasn't really fought a super, super tall guy like this in a while. Justin Gaethje, Gamrot, Gaethje again, Dos Anjos, Brad Riddell. These are all kind of shorter, stockier guys. But we know how to beat Ignacio Bahamondes is what Ludovic Klein was able to do in that last matchup, which that's the last guy to beat Ignacio Bahamondes, and he was kind of a shorter, stockier guy like Rafael Fiziev. Of course, if you're shorter, stockier, you want to get in that inside range of Ignacio where Ignacio's not able to kick and head kick you and front kick you and leg kick you and kind of make it a boxing match. And if Ignacio and Rafael is a boxing match, then it's going to come down to volume and power. And I think Rafael lands more punches in his fights when he gets into the inside than Ignacio. When they're at range, Ignacio's going to be more focused on the kicking game as opposed to the punches. If he does punch, it's going to be a jab and kicks. Jabs and kicks. And once Fiziev finds that range, finds his way inside on Ignacio Bahamondes, and starts getting into that clinch position, body, 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 up, boom, boom, uppercut. I think that's where Fiziev's going to have a lot of success in this matchup, where he's landing those body, body, body shots in the clinch, where Ignacio's trying to look for the knees. Fiziev's got good Muay Thai to defend and stay high and stay away from those knees of Ignacio Bahamondes. He's probably practicing that a lot to get in there, land body shots, and stay away from the knees at the same time. So I think this is going to be a very, very high-level fight, very technical. Fiziev's going to get in to that clinch, stay away from the knees and elbows of Bahamondes, land good body shots, and land shots on the break on Ignacio Bahamondes as he circles. I think it's going to be very close. Volume-wise, Ignacio will land a little bit more due to the kicks at range, but I believe Fiziev will land the more powerful and devastating strikes in the clinch and on the break, landing the punches as Ignacio is circling out. This is not a fight I'm ever going to say I'm confident Fiziev in after all those losses, and not a fight I'm ever going to be confident with Ignacio, because we've seen his holes when fighters are able to close that distance, and if they're able to take him down and control him like that, that's another hole. If they're just able to stay away from that submission, Fiziev, not really that type of guy, but you get what I mean. I think Fiziev wins this fight, though. It's a close one. I definitely see this one being a 29-28. It's exactly what I was expecting. 52% going Fiziev, 48%. This might be my confidence percentage when I make my video as well. This is a very, very close fight. I'm going to go Fiziev by 29-28, split decision. Khalil Rountree and Jamal Hill in the light heavyweight division. Age is pretty similar. Height and reach going Jamal Hill. Technique, probably going Khalil Rountree. IQ, pretty similar. They're both pretty smart in there. Cardio, I would give a slight advantage to Jamahal Hill, but I don't think Jamal's really going to push the pace on Khalil. If Khalil gasses out like he did in the Alex Pereira fight, it's more because Khalil is really, really putting on that pace. It's not like Jamal is going to go out there and make Khalil tired. So I think if Khalil goes out there a little bit better game plan to kind of stay in it cardio-wise, I think Khalil should survive to the final bell and not really gas out like he did in the last one. I do believe Khalil is going to be wanting to stay at range, kind of find the reads of Jamahal Hill, and then blitz inside like he kind of always does. He's got good leg kicks, good body kicks. Sometimes, every few of his fights, he does like to use them, but he loves the blitzes. He loves to come forward, get inside, land some shots, and get out, and then get the high guard, moving forward. It's a very, very close fight. Khalil is the favorite, but this is a 50-50 for sure. A lot of close fights on this card. I do believe Khalil is the more powerful guy here, and he's got the better chin. If Jamal hits Khalil with his biggest shot and Khalil hits Jamal with his biggest shot, I think Khalil will knock down Jamal more likely than Jamal will knock down Khalil. So, chin-wise, Khalil's got the advantage. Power-wise, Khalil's got the advantage. Technique-wise, Khalil's got the advantage. But Jamal, if he's able to stay away from those blitzes and watch the film correctly to get away from the blitzes before Khalil's able to land anything effective, and Jamal is able to stay at that range and use his height, use his reach, and just kind of eat, leg kick, jab, 1-2, move, hook, move, leg kick, jab, move, and he's able to stay away from the danger zone of Khalil Rountree, Jamahal Hill can definitely win this fight. But we know Khalil's learned how to get inside of the taller, lengthier fighters. He's very, very good at it. Khalil's good at countering sometimes, but he leaves himself open. Because he's going for the counter so much, his chin starts to go up a little bit, and he starts to get hit with big shots because of it. I think there's a good shot Khalil knocks out Jamahal Hill as Jamal's trying to counter, and Khalil comes in, and Khalil lands and Jamal lands, but Khalil's landing with bigger power, and Jamal has the worst chin, so Khalil's going to be winning those exchanges. That's kind of my rationale for this matchup. I am going to go Khalil Rountree, and I'm going to go 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46 on the judges' scorecards. Should be a fun one for sure. This is a 5-round banger. If it's a knockout in 1 round, I'll be happy. If it's a 5-round war, I will be happy. No matter what, this is going to be so much fun. I got Khalil Rountree, 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46. That is it. That is my full card prediction for Azerbaijan, Baku. UFC Fight Night Hill versus Rountree. I got Khalil Rountree in the main event. I got Rafael Fiziev in the co-main event. Curtis Blades by finish over Rizvan Kuniev in round 2. Myktybek Orolbai by late finish or by decision in round 3 or by decision. I got Nazim Sadykhov, unanimous decision. Mohammed Naimov, unanimous decision. Oban Elliot, unanimous decision. Junyoung Park by finish, wilting and putting on crazy pressure on Ismail and finishing him. Melissa Mullins, ground and pound TKO. Irina Alekseeva, decision. Tagir Ulanbekov, late submission or decision. And Mohammed Usman by decision. It's a good card. Very, very good card. Only 12 fights. I was hoping for 13, 14. There were some cancellations, but we did get a replacement. So the card went down in quality ever so slightly with Kyoji replaced for Azat Maksum. Still a great card. Still a very good card. Thank you guys for watching. Those are my full card predictions. Of course, check out the channel membership right here. All my bets, all my inside scoops on fight announcements, personal rankings, future UFC fighters outside of the UFC. You can ask UFC fighters questions and who should be cut, who does not deserve their spot in the UFC, all of that. Become a channel member. Pin comment or check that description. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.